Genopol, a scientific hub of excellence in all biotechnologies areas. Genopol is here to help you explore the applications of engineering biology. Set to become one of the new bioeconomy key players, Genopol focuses on turning research into solutions and developing the creation and growth of businesses. Genopol supports young researchers and gives rise to scientific leaders, opening new fields of research. Genopol's actions for bioeconomy development are far and wide.
A pioneer in the challenges at the heart of the Industry 4.0, the University of Lille and its partners develop a large number of research projects in chemistry, biology, material sciences and new energies, but also in the human and social sciences. In this respect, the University of Lille is working closely with a large number of local and international industrial stakeholders in order to develop cutting-edge technologies for tomorrow's biorefineries.
Well, let's start today with the innovation tour. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this innovation tour. Today we propose you to discover Dunkirk, its port and its industrial activities, with a particular focus to the flax industry, a crucial element of the Urban Council of Dunkirk ecosystem. A region often friendly called the French Maritime Flanders. My name is Johan de Koning and I will be your chairman today. And again, welcome to this virtual tour. Before diving deeper in the Flanders flax industry, I would like to give the floor to Bruno Alipré from Dunkirk Promotion, our gold sponsor, for a short introduction of Dunkirk and their activity. Bruno, welcome to this virtual innovation tour. Thanks for hosting us today. And I invite you to come in the floor and to share your screen for your presentation.
So thank you, Johan, for the introduction. So some few words about Dunkirk Promotion. Dunkirk Promotion is an economic development agency founded in 1991. Our job is to assist local and foreign companies in their development projects, and with the aim of local job creation. So we work with small, medium, and large companies. The idea is to support them and show them that Dunkirk is the best place for their project. So our board brings local public institution and private companies. So today, 14 private companies. So about Dunkirk, the location, it's a city in the north of France, on the North Sea coast, along the world busiest seaway, close to Belgium and UK borders. It's an interesting location for a company who needs to import and export for their activities. You can see that Dunkirk is in the heart of four major European cities, Paris, London, Brussels, and Amsterdam, which allow to access to potentially 80 million consumers. Dunkirk benefits on multimodal transport networks, maritime, river, rail, and road networks with 3 motorways. It contributes to welcome many industrial activity, as you can see on this list. Dunkirk is well known for its port, of course, and iron and steel industry, but there are many other industry like automotive industry with Kubota, like pharmaceutical industry with AstraZeneca, or also food industry with Coca-Cola, Le Sieur, or C'est Moi. In Dunkirk, the industrial sector brings 460 companies representing more 15 nationalities. So I think that better than any words, we offer you to watch the short introduction in video about Dunkirk region. I hope this video will give you a new idea about Dunkirk. And what's about innovation in Dunkirk? Dunkirk has been in the first cities in 2019 to benefit on an innovative territory label from the French government, which allow to access to an investment fund for the next 5 years. So this fund aims to support projects about ecology and energy transition. Dunkirk welcome also Energy Innovation Park for project focus on the energy and the industrial ecology. The target is to make of Dunkirk a demonstrator of the industry of the future, to develop the innovation we need skills, and for that we have the university. So Dunkirk, the university offer 14 public laboratories and 300 researchers. And about the bioeconomy ecosystem in Dunkirk, we wanted to give you some examples of local companies, such as the Belgian group Conexa, leader in banana traffic, the local company Dodwy van Coenberg, the well-known company Lucia, an aquaculture farm called Aquano, some company working in the wood industry, like Bois Environnement Service, another Belgian group called AgriFreeze, who works in frozen potatoes and vegetables. And a quick overview about flax industry in the French maritime Flanders. Why focus on a webinar on the flax? Flax is a surprising plant with outstanding qualities. It requires specific climate conditions that only few areas in Europe have. This geographic area extends from France, Normandy region, to the Netherlands. About the growing of flax, it's mainly for textile. 80% of the European production come from France, and several of leader players are located in the French maritime Flanders. Flax long fiber is exported to Asia, notably India, but China is 19% of the exportation. Hauts-de-France region is second for flax cultivation, behind Normandy, and several sketching companies in French maritime Flanders, like Van Robbe-Frère, De Coq, or the farming cooperative La Linière. And as you can see on this slide, after sketching, each part of the flax is useful, and not only for textile industry. Its numerous benefits can be appreciated in many other industries, and it's obviously the purpose of the research, but you will discover that in the following presentation.
Thank you very much, Bruno. I'm pretty sure that nobody expected such dynamic in Dunkirk. As you have seen, Bruno made a very broad, a very complete overview of the possibility that a region and a sector like Dunkirk can offer to the bioeconomy. Let's have now a look on the agenda of our journey in Dunkirk. The focus of today is flax industry and innovation. And after Pierre Darras, who will present his company Van Robbe's and their approach to innovation in processing flax and its byproduct, we will keep talking innovation with Camille Deligne, with whom we will exchange on their tumbler innovation, Mon Gobelet en lin, a flax bioplastic-based reusable tumbler. Innovation always with a biorefinery or circular economy approach, recycling the byproducts of flax scorching, for example, flax sheaves, which will be used to heat the new Wormhout Aquatic Center. Innovation always, with the future regional Center of Excellence of Flax, launched recently by local authorities, the Hauts-de-France Greater District Council, with the participation of the Dunkirk hub of the ULCO, the University Littorale Côte d'Opale. I'm very sorry, sometimes I'm hesitating on the generic names of some local entities, but those acronyms are not always very familiar to me, and I have to put an eye on my notes to avoid any mistakes. Both then Sophie Jacinka, the director of the project, and François Delatte from the University Littorale Côte d'Opale will share with us the objective and potential industrial collaboration between this very beautiful project of Center of Excellence for Flax. We will continue then with the AGUR, the local agency for the development agency of Dunkirk, and we will finalize as well with a presentation, a deeper presentation of the port of Dunkirk. But to start with, I would like to go directly to flax. Flax, it probably originated from Syria, was extensively cultivated in the ancient Egypt. Mummies, for example, were embalmed with linen. Probably imported into Europe by the Phoenician. Flax production declined in Europe as the Roman Empire declined. We had to wait the 8th century and Charlemagne to revive the crop on a large coastal strip that spans from Normandy to the Netherlands, and which became the major center of the European linen industry. Nowadays, flax is still one of the assets of the Dunkirk territory and is the main natural textile fiber in Europe. Europe represents 80% of the global flax fiber production, and France is the worldwide first producer. The paradox we see, like in other sectors such as wood, is its export to China, where flax is transformed into manufactured products, clothes or trades, which are reimported into Europe. Today, the flax industry is still a crucial element of the bioeconomy in the region, and it's making its industrial revolution to address high-tech new markets, proposing new functionalities and properties to materials. Dynamic companies such as Van Robey and De Kock, very Flemish name by the way, are leading the way of the flax modernization trends. I'm very happy now to turn now to Pierre Darras from the company Van Robey, who I invite to join the floor and to share his screen. Van Robey was founded in 1917, more than 100 years ago, based in Kielen. They employ more than 115 people now, and they have opened a second plant in the region. Pierre, the floor is yours. Please share your the screen.
Yes, thank you, Johan, for these words. Before, I would like to share you a small movie to explain what is flax. So the flax is a plant with a single stem, approximately 1 meter high. And the growth is rapid. It's sown between mid-March and mid-April. And it takes 100 days to grow. And the flower, you will see, and is often bloom. It blooms in June. Flax isn't cut. It is pulled out of the ground to preserve the entire length of the fiber. Pulling takes place in July, 5 weeks after blooming. Placed directly on the ground, you will see in thoughts, it gives the field a graphic beauty. It's a totally mechanic process and very specialized. So it takes about 1 month to do that. Then the first natural phase in the transformation plant is the rating process. So it's stimulating by alternating rain and sun, and is the reason why we are near the sea. Thanks to the action of microorganisms and bacteria naturally present in the soil, rating breaks down the pectose. The flax fibers are in outer seal of the stem. And see here, now you can see a sketching mill. It is a mechanical process. Its successive stages are rippling, drafting, breaking, and stretching. Then you have these beautiful long fibers. And now flax is ready to go to the next stage, which is combing. This is the first spinning operation, and it's often done by sculpture. The combat fibers, entangled and refined, are overlapped to a form of a soft sliver ribbon, which is ready for spinning. Here you've got the first stage then, because for spinning, there is a number of processes to convert the fiber into yarn. Then you start by regularize, drawn, and stretch. The sliver becomes a wove and then spun with a twist, and after a yarn. So all these operations are very specialized and just done for flax. This is a long fibers, and we are in a long process. It's not the same with cotton or viscose or polyester. Then the wrapping, we see it for preparing the wrap yarn. So this is the next step we need to do the fabric. Here's the picture from Safina, and then here in the couture, you stay this stage, and then we've got the weaving. That means we do a wrap with a wrap and a weft yarn from 90-degree angle to another. Now you have the flax fabric that becomes a linen and ready to be made. You see here in the shop, it's a very long process with many how-now and of each step of the transformation from the field to the shop.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you for this presentation. Very accurate and very nice to see in motion how you transform flax. Van Robey, it's I would say a love story between a plant or a fiber plant and a family. Can you explain a little, develop a little bit, let's say, the history of and the family adventure with Van Robey?
Yeah, well, it's you're right. The adventure starts in 1917 with my great-grandfather and with his brother. They came from Belgium, the reason of the name, and they established in Kilem. It was just after the First World War. They started sketching flax, and today I represent the fourth generation. And the company is still owned by the family.
And tell me, what was it that led you to personally get into this industry? Apart, obviously, the family link.
Well, yeah, as you say, it's a family link, a family story. I was 11 years old when I went first time with my father in the company. And I did several training in the mill, in the field for the harvest. And well, then after my engineer studies and different experiences in other company, I arrived in the Van Robey company. Well, I was very interested by these fibers. Very proud also of the know-how of the company, of all the people who work in this company. And also, I believe in the ecologic fiber, this wonderful fiber which is flax, and which one we can do several process, several things, not only textile.
Okay, and tell me, today textile industry is still your main market, but the diversification is going on. Can you explain us a little bit about new markets that you are developing actually? Maybe in the paper industry, insulation, automotive industry, composites, all these new things that you are developing to bring, let's say, higher value to this wonderful fiber.
Yeah, you're right. Textile represent 90% of the flax linen outlets. This is a general statistics. But since here, the flax linen industry is innovating, and we do also on textile with new developments such as knitting for fashion and wash linen for bedding that crease less. Also different coatings that enables to reach new textile markets. Today, we estimate that 10% the share of the flax market for technical purpose, stiffness, lightness, and vibration dumping make it an ideal fiber for high-performing composite materials, and penetrate sectors such as design object, acoustics, mobility, sports and leisure, automotive, and also big names as aeronautics and nautism. Because flax is a very good fiber, and we work in composites since 1985, so we've quite a bit experience in that. And also, as you said, the flax is also used in the paper industry for dollars, and also as insulation materials in eco building. So you see, there is many market for this industry.
Okay, and another big topic for you is the circular economy approach, or the biorefinery approach toward, let's say, the processing of the flax fiber. And you have, let's say, some byproducts that you try to valorize, such as flax sheaves. Can you tell us what are the works are you developing, let's say, to repurpose, I would say, those byproducts?
Yes. Well, for sheaves, the main market are panels and animal bending. We are looking for new outlets. Obviously, the flax linen industry through the CULC, so the European Community of Hemp and Linen, has initiated beginning 2020 a collective and structured approach on sheaves outlets. We were in this approach, and we look for a market study based on energy, and it has been managed, and technical tools to help sculpture to reach this market are now available. So we are more and more professional in this with this fiber, which is at the beginning only from field. So now, meanwhile, there are some projects like of valuing chives in energy in Flanders, in Wormhout, for example, and we are a few sketchers in this sector to be part of. We also are looking for something near Saint-Paul-sur-Ternoise, where we've got our second mill. And yeah, I think we will continue to find new approach for the different part of the flax. Yes, and the CULC help us a lot to promote our fibers, not only fibers, but also seeds, also sheaves, all of that. And we've got also a good support with a big network of university and laboratories. So we think we will continue to develop it.
Okay, maybe a last question for you before you leave. I know that you have an audit that will start pretty soon. I do not want you to miss that audit. ISO 9000, I presume. What kind of future you see for flax fibers, let's say, at Vendrobeis in particular, but as well in the region? What kind of future you imagine for this pretty nice natural resource?
Well, for the future, we are looking for new developments in application with high value because as it's ecologic and good fibers with good properties, we think we can find application with high value. Flax is not very well known. So we've got an R&D cell which work on new flax fibers with new preparation. And also we believe that alone we are good, but it's much better when we are several. So we work with other company to develop new blends and also new applications. So it can be in the design, it can be also in the construction for isolation, for new system of isolation, and I hope also for the sun protection because flax are very good properties for protect from the heat, and we are looking for a new application with that.
Okay, then I presume that you are open to adapt your process, the process of the fiber to the application, which makes, let's say, very nice and interesting and exciting new developments for the future with partners that are willing to develop in that sector. Well, the call is there, and people who is ready to and interested to develop a new outlet or new market for flax, they can always address, let's say, their project to Pierre from Vendrobeis, and it is, I presume, with pleasure that you will have a look on the project and probably perhaps join the venture with those partners to develop new markets. Yeah. I know as well that you have contributed to Mongo Bléolin, which has been developed by Camille Deligne. And Camille, please open your camera. This is a very nice transition with the next speaker. Camille, your father and you had, thank you very much, Pierre, for this presentation and having a very nice audit now, success on that audit. Camille, thank you for coming. Your father and you had a bright idea of creating a reusable tumbler, which has the special feature of being made from flax. Can you maybe explain us and introduce our company and explain us how it comes the idea to develop this tumbler, please?
Yes, thank you. This is our presentation. I am Camille Deligne, co-founder of Dinov, and Mongo Bléolin is the brand. Dinov is an engineering company specialized in products and consumption in textiles, materials, and metal. Dinov will be soon 3 years old, and we are 2 associates, as you said, my father and I. Here you can see a picture of us. In 2019, we have developed our own product. So after 9 months of research, tests, and industrialization steps, we have launched in December of the year our product under the brand Mongo Bléolin, which is meaning my tumbler in flax. But Mongo Bléolin, what does that mean? It's a tumbler which is reusable and washable. It's 100% bio-based material, There is no petrol-based, no additives in our tumbler. It's a tumbler with flax from northern France. As you said, we work with bamboo-based, and we want flax from north. It's 100% made in France. So all the steps of the production are made in France. And our cup is customizable with laser engraving. It's a technology with no ink and no solvents. It allows to add a logo or a message on the cup, but in conserving the bio-based aspect. It was very important for us because most customization process are with ink, which are not bio-based. So since the launch, we sold approximately 100,000 cups in the year. So it's a special year for sure. Our customers are everywhere. There are organizations for events, for manifestation. There are companies in their environmental engagement for events, to equip employees, to put tumblers in meeting room. There are communities, same for events or for so many manifestations. And there are two individuals for weddings, for example, or casual use. We have many customers who use our tumblers for children, for example. So this is a small presentation about our tumbler and what property he has. So thank you for attention.
Thank you, Camille. You explained us that the idea came during the famous Carnival of Dunkirk for this tumbler. How is that right? And how did it come to you, that idea? Because we know that this carnival is famous, but tell us a little bit more. How during a carnival could you have this idea?
Yes, we can say that because during the Dunkirk Carnival, as during a lot of manifestation, indoor or outdoor, it's usual to use and provide reusable cups for people in order to limit the single-use tumblers. And also it's a very good idea because it limits waste. But in fact, these tumblers are made of petrol-based materials too. So if they are accidentally lost in the nature, they are very polluting for the environment. So we wanted to use another type of tumbler. And for example, during the carnival, some manifestation happen just by the sea, and everyone knows the impact of plastics on our seas. So it's an idea that came from our proximity with sea.
And originally, the tumbler was made out of bioplastics. Why and how did you come up with the idea of integrating flax?
In fact, from the beginning of the project, we have chosen to work with a bioplastic plus a natural reinforcement fiber to bring more mechanical strength to the bioplastic. Sometimes bioplastic can be very delicate and have no big strengths or properties. So with flax, I have a professional experience around this fiber, and because I have worked as a research and development engineer in flax for 4 years, so for me it was obvious that flax was the best option for our project to reinforce the tumblers. It's a fiber which has very interesting mechanical properties. It supports a local industry and it's eco-friendly. It's an eco-friendly cultivation. So that's just perfect for a project like ours.
Okay, and what about the access to the resource? Was it difficult to get access to the fiber, or was it natural? How did react the producers to your idea, for example?
I know Pierre Darras and the Van Rebels company for several years, as well as the other sketching companies. Flax industry is listening to the developments and projects around flax. They are interested in new outlets, so they support us. It was a development together, and our project received a very positive reception. So it's a good thing, and to gain to access to the resource, it was quite easy for us, and it was a good reception.
Concerning the commercial part of your tumbler, is the first commercial developments reaching your expectations, or are they above or your expectation maybe? Can you tell me more about the commercial developments?
We are very happy of how people and customers react about our tumbler. For sure, it's the COVID crisis does not help us to develop our sales in the event industry for festival or for many fests. So we sold tumbler principally among collectivities and companies in their environmental approach. So it helps to develop our commercial, and it's not the best year it could be, but it's not so bad. Most of companies want to provide tumblers for their employees, and they are more and more implicated in the environment aspects of their companies. So we have sold so many tumblers in this way.
And are there other products coming? Are you developing new products to enrich, I would say, the range of products you will be offering in the future?
Yes, we work on it. We want to develop another type of tumblers with a smaller dimension and adapted for high temperature. We are working on other projects too, but our goal is to develop useful products, always with bio-based and local materials and local production too. We always want to total eco-friendly projects. So we have a lot of ideas, but we need to work on it. We need time and we need money to develop them. So it's our goal.
Okay, thank you, Camille. Thank you for your time and for sharing with us your experience in developing a new product based on flax fiber. You have seen that through the developments of Van Robey and Deinov from with my gobelet en lin, sorry, my flax tumbler. We really realized that the flax industry is extremely dynamic and important in Dunkirk region. And so important that today Dunkirk, and more specifically the Hauts-de-France Greater District Council, has taken the initiative to create a regional center of excellence for flax. And I would like now to welcome our next speaker, Sophie Jarsinka, the director of the Regional Center of Excellence, who will be accompanied by Alice, because she's not so familiar with the English, and she asked me to avoid mistakes and to make sure that everybody understand and can see the impact that this project can have in the future of flax industry, to help her in presenting the project. Well, Sophie, Alice, please share the screen. It's already done, and the floor is yours.
Okay, good morning, Joanne. Before starting, I share with you a presentation slide of the CCHF territory. As you can see on this picture, the CCHF territory includes 40 municipalities for a total of 55,000 residents. The territory is rural and it's located in the north of France. I have finished with the presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Then, Sophie, you are the director of this major project between the Hauts-de-France, Greater District Council. Among the big projects recently launched by the Hauts-de-France, we find this regional center of excellence for flax. Can you tell me how did you come up with the idea to create this regional center, Sophie?
I speak for Sophie.
Yes, sorry.
So the Hauts-de-France Greater District Council is enjoying an innovative dynamic, and it stems from the territory's natural resources. Plus, the region has appointed it as a REF3 demonstrator territory, or a territory with an innovative approach to addressing the major challenges in sustainable development, including the relationship between renewable energies development and responsible energy consumption. In this regard, the Hauts-de-France Greater District Council, the CCHF, has based its development on natural resources, including flax. With regard to this topic, we noticed that when the flax was sketched, they were co-products that could be repurposed by the territory stakeholders. Until that point, flax chives were not being repurposed. Therefore, we initiated a dialogue with flax sculptures and research bodies to identify potential avenues for valorization. So our initial context helped us to identify gaps, particularly in training, in the valorization of the flax sector as a whole and in communicating what is being done in the territory of Flandre. That's why we got the idea to invest in the creation of a new regional center of excellence for flax, one that will fill these gaps. We want to gain a better understanding of all the know-how of a sector that is not limited to textiles alone. And it's just like the pig, which is commonly reared in our region, all parts of flax can be used.
Okay, then this means that you are also working in new forms of valorization. Amongst these new forms, we already mentioned the flax sheaves for the heating of the new Wormhout Aquatic Center. Can you tell us more about this original initiative?
Yes, the councillors wanted to build a swimming facility, and the Wormhout industrial area was identified as the most suitable area. One of the challenges for any aquatic center concerns the energy consumption, whether to heat the water or renew the air. It takes up a significant chunk of the total budget. Energy cost control was important for this new project. Therefore, we came up with the idea of looking at the energy requirements in the industrial area with a view to recover the waste heat from one or several neighboring businesses and promote the use of renewable energies in the aquatic center and the neighboring businesses at the same time. So two possible scenarios were quickly identified. The first was methanation, and the second was flax chive valorization. Concerning methanation, farmers are the driving force, and some are already taking steps in this direction. One of the pioneers in methanation in our territory is SCEA des Trois Chênes, which is a large farm that reuses the pig manure as biomethane to power electricity generators in order to meet its operating needs. Another example is SARL Liévin, which is another big farm located in Volquerin-Cove, which also has a methanation unit. Concerning flax chives, which is the second option, we have quickly got the grips with the fact that there was a real valorization problem in that area. So the councillors favored the second scenario and decided to work with the flax producer as they offer numerous advantages. It's 100% natural resource. They are
Okay, and if we understand well, one of the purpose of this center of excellence is, for example, to consolidate the industry. Can you give us a little bit more insight about this aspect and the goal and the purpose, the exact goal and purpose of this center of excellence?
Oh yes, sorry. So the Regional Center of Excellence for Flax aims to be a facilitator and an integrator. A facilitator that links stakeholders in the sector or that identifies unmet needs and expectations that need addressing, and an integrator that brings together all the local stakeholders in the sector. So the center will have positive impacts on the Hauts-de-Flandre Greater District Council, on training in particular, but there will be wider reaching activities because it's not only Flandre that produces flax, it's also produced in the departments of Aisne and Oise, and it will be a place for sharing and developing regional and local projects.
This means that this project is, let's say, part now of the regional panorama of development through the third revolution and the TIGA meaning a major ambition innovation territory program, isn't it?
At the start of our presentation, we mentioned the REV 3 dynamic, but there is indeed the innovative territories dynamic. And the French government's call for projects which the CCHF was awarded along with the Greater Dunkirk Urban Council, the CUD. Innovative territories will help us shine the spotlight on the initiatives and projects that are part of the scope of the territory's industrial port complex transition, including the CCHF flax project. There is work ahead to identify prospective projects to be included and then incorporated into the French government's ecological transition recovery contract.
And what resources will be given to this project? Will it have its own premises, a showroom, a hall, technological hall? Can you develop, please?
Yes, these decisions are currently being made, but the idea is that there will be a demo space in addition to a training center. The latter is currently being decided on, a showroom and the possibility to host startups from part of the topics being studied at present.
Okay, then it's a very great opportunity for startups for startups who are planning to develop in the flax industry because you are planning to have a kind of incubator. Can you tell us more about this and how, if a company or an industry stakeholder wishes to invest in the center, how should they proceed? Can you develop this part, please?
Situated in the Wormhout industrial area, the incubator was designed to host fledgling companies in functional premises where they could benefit from single offices, amenities, or shared workspaces. In particular, there is an innovation suite kitted out with the latest technology, including a 3-dimension printer and many offices. This tool will obviously be available to the Regional Center of Excellence for Flax while we wait on the creation of a training center, which will include these shared spaces for demos, meeting, and working.
Okay, thank you. And more recently, you awarded a grant to the University Littorale Côte d'Opale. Can you tell us more about this grant?
Yes, the CCHF has signed a framework agreement with the University Littoral Côte d'Opale, ULCO, and the goal of which is to work together closely on the latest issues concerning research in the flax sector. So the CCHF was interested in two topics in particular. The first topic is the analysis of fumes derived from flax chive combustion emissions in an attempt to identify potential filters to use and to limit particulate matter emissions. As a matter of fact, the use of flax chives in a biomass heating plant remains quite innovative. Therefore, we need to gain a better understanding of combustion emissions in order to improve the carbon footprint. And to finish, the second project is research into new market opportunities for the flax sector, and in particular, the potential development of biofuels from flax. François Delattre maybe will tell us more about it.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Sophie, for your presence and for sharing with us the nice presentation and of this very nice Center of Excellence. Well, if one of you are interested to develop a flax project, to develop yourself or your company in the flax industry, you see the possibilities that the region is offering to you in terms of incubator, working space, and innovation possibilities with all the industry that is, let's say, located around the region that is transforming flax into a very nice and very beautiful natural fiber. I'm turning now to our next speaker, and I will introduce one of the partners of this Center of Excellence. I'm calling the University Littoral Côte d'Opale. And François, maybe you can, you already did it. Thank you very much for being there. University Littoral Côte d'Opale is the university in the territory of Dunkirk. Every year it welcomes more than 10,000 students, more than 1,000 of whom come from other countries. They have 4 sites located in the city of Dunkirk, Saint-Omer, Calais, and Boulogne-sur-Mer. Very nice places, by the way, where to study. The ULCO, University Littoral Côte d'Opale, so-called ULCO, employs 300 researchers, and amongst its research facility, you find the department USAVE from François Delattre. I will just mention it once completely, François. Just allow me once, because it's very long name: Environmental Chemistry and Interaction amongst Living Organisms Department. And you are part of this department, the director of this department at the University of ULCO. François, maybe you can explain us more what is behind this long name of laboratory and what are you developing there. Please share your slide and your presentation.
Thank you, Johan, to give me the opportunity to present my unit research. I'm not the head of the unit. I'm the head of chemistry of the ULCO. Nowadays, we develop. I'm sorry. Okay. Nowadays, we develop research activities in the field of environmental science, sustainable and development and energy. The unit gathers research for researchers from several scientific areas in chemistry, toxicology, biochemistry, and plant biology, which are organized into 4 research teams. First, the chemistry and toxicology of atmospheric emission teams focus on assessing exposure level to gases and particulate air pollutant in order to study their effect on the human respiratory system. The aim of the research is to examine the underlying physiopathological mechanism involved in the development of respiratory pathologies and to propose a biomarker of exposure. Secondly, the plant fungus interaction and remediation teams research activity are based on its expertise in mycology, in particular on the interaction between plant and fungi. They are organized in the two main fields: biocontrol of wheat foliar fungal diseases and phytomanagement of contaminated soils. The biocontrol aims to develop new sustainable control strategy against the wheat fungal parasite, while phytomanagement focus on the development of alternative methods to depollute soil. The topic of the catalytic treatment and clean energy teams concerns the heterogeneous catalysis applied to environment and energy. The catalysis process are able to eliminate and purify air pollutant, as well as to participate to the activation of carbon dioxide for methanation process. In the context of catalyst development, we search alternative solution for transform biomass in clean energy. Today, we are focused on the use of inexpensive metal oxide and bio-based or natural materials that can be prepared by unconventional pathway like microwave or ultrasound technologies. My team is supramolecular chemistry. The research activities of this team are essentially done in the field of sustainable chemistry at the interface of two disciplines, organic synthesis and supramolecular chemistry. They contribute to the development of more environmentally friendly chemical process by developing unconventional synthesis methods, as well as methods for detect or extract pollutants of the environment. The application of the supramolecular building is carried out along several axes, especially dedicated to environment concerns as the remediation of pollutant and valorization of biomass. Among the remediation process currently available, our work consists in developing innovative methods adapted to hydrophobic organic compounds and based on the complexation and solubilization properties of cyclodextrin molecule and bio-based solvent as eutectic solvent. The valorization of biomass theme aims to elaborate a new bio-based composite from flax product. The works are done in partnership with the flax regional sector, especially Van Robé Frères. The specificity of the supramolecular teams is to use the acoustic cavitation as tool to elaborate their bio-based materials. The skill is quite rare to be reported here. Moreover, for a view to possible industrial upgrading, semi-pilot sonochemical reactors are being developed for the production of high-quality fibers and for functionalization of biomass. Finally, the complementary disciplinary skill of USEF make it to possible approach environmental problem in transversal manner in order to characterize the particulate air pollutant and to access of their toxicity, degradate and biodegradate organic pollutant, treat gaseous compound by catalytic processes, and treat biomass by a chemical and biochemical process. I will return on the flax works. For us, flax industry is a solid partner since a few years. Their use can be resumed on two levels. First, finding solution to rating issue, we strongly depend on climatic condition. And secondly, the flax sector is really interested on the development of new composite for building application or green reinforcement in automotive or aviation industry. The originality of the new flax composite is to incorporate polysaccharide from seed as matrix with bio-based resin. The next step corresponds to the fireproofing of the first generation of composite to reach marketing requirement. I finish and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, François. A very nice presentation of your activities and the activities, general activities of the lab and the ULCO in the bioeconomy sector in general, and more specifically in flax. We have seen all the interaction between the flax industry and your department. We heard as well, and the Center of Excellence have mentioned that to us, that you receive a grant. You mentioned that as well. The grant enables you to create an atmospheric lab with the installation of filters at the outlet of the flax shaves fuel boiler. Can you detail a little bit more about this initiative, maybe to see how, let's say, are you going to take the approach?
Well, I'm not very qualified to speak of this topic, but it's an initiative of CCHF to make a combination with the sheave, flax sheave in the for the combustion. Donc, I'm not very qualified to speak of this topic. I'm qualified to speak sonochemical activity.
Okay, no problem with that. Maybe more in general, if a company, we have seen all the competences in the local university, especially again because this is the topic of today, the flax industry, but not only. You have been talking about biocomposite, about solvent, about polymers, resins, and as well as I would say in general the bioeconomy sector. How, if a company has a subject in this topic, how they can approach you in terms to get support from your university for partnership to develop new product?
Our skills are relatively large, as I have described in this presentation. In addition, I can see we have a great technical platform to respond of some problematic, industrial problematic. We have some technique as NMR and XRD spectroscopies and many chromatographic devices and specific biological equipment. As chemists and biologists, we are able to respond to many environmental issues, and we are listening to manufacturer industry and industry, local industry and elsewhere.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, François. Thank you for this nice presentation. You can stop sharing your screen now. Thank you very much. Innovative companies, a center of excellence dedicated to flax, a university that works on all those topics. We clearly see how a whole ecosystem is being gradually built around the flax industry and the bioeconomy in the territory of Flanders Maritime. And it is this ecosystem that the Flanders Dunkirk Agency for Urban Planning and Development, so-called AGUR, very easy for me to pronounce in English, and I will continue under that name for the future of this workshop, has undertaken to chart the form of decision-making tools called toiles. Now I will welcome Camille Lepoint from the AGUR. and she will make a short introduction of her agency and the concept they have developed of the decision-making tool called toile industrielle. Camille, welcome to this webinar. Welcome to present, let's say, your agency and your activities and how you have developed, let's say, your strategy to make your toile industrielle, I would say.
Thank you, Joanne. So I'm Camille Lepoint, as you said. I'm a study assistant at the Planning and Development Agency of Flanders Dunkirk region. And for today, I've prepared a video presentation of our agency and our tools. So I'm going to share you my screen, just 1 minute.
Alors l'AGUR, c'est une agence d'urbanisme et de développement sur un territoire qui reprend maintenant toute la Flandre française. Notre mission principale, c'est de révéler des opportunités. C'est permettre à la fois de comprendre les évolutions du territoire, alerter sur les éléments saillants et puis pouvoir dénicher en fait ce qui va permettre au territoire d'aller plus loin dans le bon sens.
To reveal opportunities in our territory, AGUR has been creating toiles since 2009, largely inspired by the work of scientist Joël de Ronet in his book Le Macroscope. A toile is a systemic representation of the ecosystem of the Flanders Dunkirk employment area. This tool has been developed in various fields such as industry and energy, and others are being created. Today, AGUR has been working on a new theme, the agriculture and agri-food transition. This tool is called Toile de la transition agricole et agroalimentaire. You can see an overview of the toile. Concretely, it's a representation of the main exchanges developed by the agri-food industries and farmers located in the Flanders Dunkirk employment area. As an indication, this territory comprises 57 municipalities and 253,000 inhabitants. Inside the blue box, we find companies located in the territory in the form of colored rectangles. Let's take the cocoa industry for example. Inside, the name of the company, the activity sector, the number of employees, the location, and the flag indicating the nationality of the group. Around this rectangle, there are colored arrows that represent customer and supplier relationships. At the bottom center of the tool, an aggregate represents agriculture with plants and animals. For example, 50% of the useful agricultural area in Flanders Dunkirk is used for cereals and 4% of the cattle raised in the Nord-Pas-de-Calais are raised on our territory. As you can see, several arrows around this aggregate go in and out, which corresponds to the exchanges between the breeders or producers and the different sectors of companies. The tool is surrounded by key information such as contacts, key figures, definition, a label guide, etc. On both sides of the toile, we find import markets with the different sectors and the geographical origin of the raw materials according to the countries and the regions of the world. Logistic nodes are represented and correspond to the port of Dunkirk, the other competing ports as well as the various terminals for which the goods transit. On the right, we find export markets. And at the very bottom of the tool, we find the intermediate flows that correspond to companies that are not on the territory, but that have established customer and supplier relationships with companies and farmers of the Flanders Dunkirk perimeter. This tool provides a portrait of the agriculture and agri-food ecosystem of our territory and helps to identify the strengths and weaknesses of sectors. It's also possible to establish scenarios and anticipate potential opportunities and ruptures. The flax sector is a perfect illustration. The Flanders-Dunkirk region is located in the heart of the region that's growing from Normandy to the Netherlands and concentrating 90% of the world's fiber flax. Well represented in the toile de la transition agricole et agroalimentaire, actors in this sector display exceptional know-how and a great capacity for innovation. That's why we created a micro toile for flax. The tool covers all actors in flax in the region, including farmers, seed companies, agricultural machinery, flax dyers, and various export markets such as energy, paper, construction, and textiles. Just like the toile for agriculture and agri-food, all exchanges between actors are represented by arrows. The main objective of Agure is to reveal opportunities, and to achieve this, the agency is working on software called ToileMaker with the startup Les Possibiliseurs. Now, Anne Van Ack is going to introduce you ToileMaker.
So now Anne is going to introduce you the ToileMaker software. Anne, you can share your screen now.
So I wanted to introduce you the collaboration we have in open innovation with the Agure. So the aim is to create a software called ToileMaker. Toile, why toile? Because in French, toile means at the same time canvas, so showing a picture. Also a spider web, so on which you can a spider can walk. And at the same time, it's all linked about web and the data and open data, because we are just creating the sketch with data, open data, and through meetings we have with the ecosystem. So the objective is working with the Agure. Then they have the know-how and they know exactly what to show. So our job is to transform this know-how into a digital twin to give a general overview, but also to give the opportunity to more deeply in the ecosystem sketch. So you can select data, you can select ecosystem, you can choose to have an overview with the geographical overview, where are they located, etc. So it's just our job. For example, the aim is to simulate events. What about if a company disappear? What about if a new company settled with Dunkirk promotion in this field? Then we can just see the impact on the ecosystem and the strengths and the weakness. We can define the type of relationships and entity types, so that we can see if they are linked or not, if they are competitors or not, if they are working in a sector. And we can also give a quicker overview on the massification ways, for example, or quantity. And with that, we can make a proposal. I mean, we won't make proposal, but for example, cluster will have a clearer idea on what can be done with a dashboard, with also a link, what's go in, what's go out, and what is unused. It's important for us also that to tell you that, of course, we are creating an overview on the system, I would say ecosystem, but we are also linking every item produced or waste in the region. We link this to a watch tool for relevant innovation with the ecosystem. It is to say that, for example, we absorb every university literature, patents, for example, all over the world. We are working in 62 languages, and we can just watch what's evolving, what has disappeared, what are the new patent, the new actors, and at one time we can help the decision maker to look specifically in one direction, maybe because, for example, we have to take care about a specific innovation that could reveal opportunity for a region, for a cluster. So also it's important to say that it's a decision tool make, but at the same time, it's also important to tell the general public about the ecosystem. So we have also possibility to turn this export of a digital twin of an ecosystem into a more, I would say, gameplay for pupils, so that they understand the flax comes from, where it goes, and it's by playing you also get to know the better the ecosystem. For example, this was my last slide, and Camille and I are open to your questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anne and Camille, for this pretty nice presentation of those two tools, I would say, le toile industrielle. Then we have seen also that you have the general one, and you have transformed it in a flax micro tool. We can call it like that, maybe. Can we print that map that of flax, for instance, for people that are interested in maybe you say playing a little bit when they have the result? Can they print it, or is just, let's say, something that you have in the screen and you cannot do anything else?
No, the tool will be printed. Okay. We have the project to print it on flax for the toile for agriculture and agri-food transition. But thanks to Camille Deling, so why not do the same for the flax micro tool when it's finished? That's a good idea for the flax.
Okay, and people willing to get the tool, how they should work to get it, or who they need to contact, let's say, to get access to that tool?
So if you would like to get these tools, you can contact me directly by email. Our contacts are just here next to me, and it will be a pleasure to talk about these tools.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Camille and Anne, for this very original tool, and I'm pretty sure that it will be a pretty successful tool, and it will help to develop the projects and the industry in the region. And I think even for us, there is some ideas that could be very nice for our cluster, and you will probably heard somebody calling you to discuss and to see what can bring us, let's say, as information, the tool you have developed in the near future. Now we will go with the last part of our webinar and the virtual innovation tour. And not the least one, because we are going to talk about the port, the maritime port of Dunkirk. The maritime port of Dunkirk is the third largest port in France, and the ninth largest in the Channel and the North Sea range. It's the #1 railway hub in France, and the second most important in France for cross-channel traffic. It is an important stakeholder of the bioeconomy industry in the Dunkirk territory, and it's a major gateway to the transfer of fruit containers in particular. And it is, for instance, the leading import port for bananas, with more than 300,000 tons import every year. However, this is also because its capacity to accommodate industrial project on its land. In fact, it is the largest landowner in the territory, with more than 3,500 hectares still available for new projects. And I would like to welcome back Bruno Adipré, who will give us a short introduction about the port Bruno, you can start sharing maybe your presentation and give us all what you know about this port, and to give us, let's say, the wish to invest nearby the port of Dunkirk.
Yeah, thank you, Johan. So about Dunkirk port, maybe it's necessary to tell that in France you have several kind of ports. There's some regional ports and some port of state, like in Dunkirk. Port of state are also called as a grand port maritime, and it means it's not the region who manages the port, but it's in Dunkirk. It's an important port for France. So it's managed by the state. It's a very competitive port and reliable port with no strike for 29 years, and you can see some figures about the traffic in 2019. We don't have yet all the figures for last year's, but considering the particularity of 2020, the first figures we have are not bad at all. You can see that in 2019, global traffic was of 53 million tons, and in 2020 it reached 45.2 million tons. So it's less than the previous years, and it's a consequence of an important slowdown of the iron and steel industry. So it has a big impact of the global traffic of the port. We can say that UK's traffic remains steady, and in Dunkirk it's mainly freight traffic. So its freight traffic has been less impacted than the car traffic, and we think that this year should be really better because there were several good news for the Dunkirk ports, with many new shipping services to UK and Ireland. We can say, and it's a very big surprise, that the grain traffic was of 2 million tons in 2019, and last year it reached 3.3 million tons. So it's over 63% to compare to the previous year. Container traffic, which is the priority of development of the port, continue to increase and reach 463,000 containers. There were many investments in Dunkirk port these last years. As you can see, in 2 years ago, there was the extension of the container terminal, which is now able to welcome at the same time two of the biggest container ships in service. In 2020, we welcome in April the 5th and the 6th Gantry crane, who took place on the terminal. So now the container terminal can manage up to 1 million containers per year. Here you can have an overview of the deep sea services. So from Dunkirk, you have access to you have a worldwide connection. Here is the short sea services with the last connection from the DFDS, who offers ferry services for freight traffic to Rosslare in Ireland, and there's also the last connection to from container ships to Liverpool, Bristol, and Dublin, and this last shipping service are very good news considering the Brexit. We wanted also to introduce you the CAP 2020 project. It's a project of the Port Authority and local public institution. It started 2 years ago. It's a part of the strategic plan of Dunkirk ports for the next years. The aim is to develop port traffic and local economy. The project is an extension of the Atlantic dock, the container terminal, and the layout of the logistic area. Of course, this project will develop according to the development of the container traffic. We can say that today there's already 2 business parks available to welcome companies. There's a major industry area for industrial activity, and Dunkirk Logistic International, which is dedicated to logistic activities. So here you have an overview of the territory, mainly for the port area, to show you the location of these 2 parks. But we have also some setting up solution, for example, for lands in a business park located in the urban community of Dunkirk or the Haute-Flandre Community Council. And the agency manage also real estate opportunities to be able to introduce some real estate solution for companies. So we wanted to focus on the major industry area, which is very attractive for companies who look for huge plots of lands for industrial projects. Following several studies of development projects, we have seen that the deadline is very important for the companies. That's why Dunkirk Port and the local institution decided to anticipate the procedure to set up this industrial area dedicated to major projects. So it's mainly for development projects who needs a minimum of 10 hectares. Major industrial area it's a total surface of 160 hectares. And in some way, we thought that the label, the French government created in 2019 a label called Site Clé en Main, Site Industriel Clé en Main, promoted by Choose France. And in some way, we put to this label before the French government, because so when they called for expression of interest, we were already ready, and it's allowed to this area to win this label. And so the particularity of this business park is that we can propose a huge plot of lands, and all the administrative process has been done. And the Port Authority, the urban community of Dunkirk, Enedis for the Enedis and RTE for the electricity networks, invest in a power substation, electrical power substation, actually built on the business park to avoid to wait, because it takes a long time to develop to do this investment, and we take the risk to invest in this infrastructures because we believe in this business park. So to propose land and utilities is very important. All kinds of utilities are available in this business park. That's why we choose this location, because there's electricity substation close. There's gas. There's industrial water, drinking water, optic fibers, and it's a perfect location on the territory to welcome industrial project. And we can say that today we work with the Belgian group Clearwood Potatoes to set up potatoes plants on this business park, but to propose land and utility is not enough for us. We want also to build some synergy between companies. I mean, Clearwood Potatoes will have some co-products, and we think it's interesting to propose these co-products, which can be also a raw material for another activities, for another projects. So if you want more information about the major industry business park or another business park in Dunkirk, or some information about Dunkirk economy, of course you can contact me and my colleague Cyril Gaillard. You can also visit our virtual booth on the BIOKET, and we will be happy to answer to your request.
Thank you, Bruno, for this very complete and very nice presentation of the actual port of Dunkirk and its growing possibilities for the future and potential expansions as well, and welcoming possibilities for people that are, let's say, potentially willing to invest in France and north of France in particular, and more specifically in Dunkirk, because there is a nice port. It is important to have a port and to have access to the sea. Obviously, every country, every region would like to have products that are 100% made in the regions, but that's not always possible. And to have access to the sea through a major port that is able to discharge very high capacities and very huge vessels, it's important as well for the supply and to secure maybe some alternative supply as well in case of problems. Thank you very much again for this very nice presentation. We come to an end of our webinar and our virtual tour of the region of Dunkirk. I would like, before finishing, I would like to thank all the participants for playing the game of recording this webinar, especially because due to the digital transformation of our event, we had to modify the program. We had to adapt ourselves to that. And then I would like to thank all the speakers for their agility in being present today. A special thanks as well to Cyril Gaillard. Cyril Gaillard has been our contact point at Dunkirk Promotion since the beginning of the BIOKET partnership with this entity. And he has done a huge job to make this record, let's say, feasible today. And then, Cyril, I know that you don't like to get, let's say, online, but thank you very much. I know you are hearing us. Thank you very much again for your work. It has been very much appreciated. And I really hope that this webinar will contribute a little bit to the expansion of the economy and the bioeconomy in particular of Dunkirk in the near future. Before, let's say, stopping, let's say, definitively this webinar, I would like to share with you a pretty nice movie, and I'm trying to find it back. You know, in Dunkirk, we have a pretty nice humor as well. And we have a very nice video that describes all the 7 stereotypes of Dunkirk. And I would like to finish this webinar by sharing with you this video.
Your coffee, sir. Here you go.
No, really. Can you imagine? Dunkirk, the next French Hollywood.
Just when you think you've seen it all.
What's next? What do you think, madam? Hollywood on the North Pole. Why not have penguins as extras as well?
It's a beautiful day. And I'm gonna be just fine, yeah. It's a beautiful day. And I'm gonna be just fine. It's a beautiful day. And I'm gonna be just fine.
Well, Dunkirk does get some sunny days. Still, the only true industry there is chips.
In Dunkirk, the only flourishing industry is the chip shop.
You're telling me.
Right now, I got this beat in my head. Right now, I want to dive into this world. Let it out for the crowd, let it out, yeah, be proud. Right now, this is a real good atmosphere. Right now, superficialities are here. No excuse, no rules, no one to judge. Just give a fuck.
I was thinking what you were saying earlier. Dunkirk is at world's end.
Exactly. In any case, what's beyond Dunkirk? Fish. Let's say that Dunkirk is a nice place to be, but good luck finding any engineers. The only training you can get in Dunkirk is carnival. Exactly.
Is that Dunkirk is still on 1G. They're lagging behind.
Exactly.
When you came, I found my sanity. And you gave me back my energy. And I know I owe it all to you. Don't ever let me go.
The economy's doing well for itself. But, sir, you know, if I get transferred to Dunkirk, that's my marriage over with. Naturally. Dunkirk may be the ideal place to raise a family, but the nightlife goes off more with a whimper than with a bang.
Obviously, in Dunkirk, it's straight to bed after work.
You're telling me.
ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of this webinar, this innovation tour. I thought it was pretty nice to finish with this movie, which shows a little bit all what we have seen, let's say, during this webinar. Sorry for that. All what we have seen during this webinar. And I'm pretty sure now that you have all the necessary information concerning Dunkirk, and you're welcome again to invest in this region. Cyril Gaillard and Bruno Alipré, as well as Camille Lepoint and Anne Van Heek, are ready to welcome your needs and to treat, let's say, your file as a priority for the investment in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being present today, and I wish you a very nice BIOKET Congress, virtual BIOKET Congress. All the people will be present during, let's say, the 3 days of exhibition, and we will make sure that you get access to them through their booths, let's say, during this exhibition. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and see you pretty soon. Bye-bye.